if you are a mum or a sister or a daughter of a bloke that's gone through it, or a brother or a father of a girl who's gone through anything like this. Telephone. Jim in Dudley. Thank you for calling, Jim.
Hi, Jenny. Good afternoon.
Hi. Talk to me.
I'm personally, I had PTSD. It was fixed in and around having come back from Afghanistan. Personally, I've served Special Forces, having left the parachute regiment to go across and join. It does manifest in many different ways. I mean, mine was pretty much based in and around paranoia, aggression, anger, sadness, fear, guilt, hurt, all of it. It was all incorporated into the one sensation. Well,
if you don't mind, just a little bit more detail. When you say paranoia, how did that reveal itself to you?
It was actually quite late on into the sort of what it was. I mean, I went to the doctors stating that I didn't feel too good. I was having sort of high blood pressure issues, sweats, clamminess. I just generally didn't feel very well at all. The doctor sort of did the mandatory test that they have to do, and sort of turned around and said, well, I'm going to apply this label of PTSD to you. Now, I didn't know a great deal of it. I sort of came home and said to my fiancée, I've just been told I've got PTSD.
And she said, what's that? And you had to say post-traumatic stress disorder, is it?
Disorder.
Okay,
absolutely, yeah.
Go on.
So, I mean, it was up on me and spiraled out of control quite rapidly for a period of probably, I don't know, it's always been sort of there if you've looked deep enough into it, but it only sort of manifested itself with a changing event of my daughter being born. Thereafter, it was, as I say, it came on top and I wasn't able to do much about it. Things were going out of control rapidly.
Do you think it was when your daughter was born, it's because you felt that you couldn't be the daddy that you thought you should be for her?
That did come into it. I mean, obviously, being out of control or being out of touch with your emotions, being in that environment, because I was, as I say, it sort of desensitizes you. But I don't think it was brought on by my daughter's birth. It just seemed to sort of coincide in and around that time.
So because the one thing I'm thinking as you're talking to me is that you, presumably, being this really fit geezer, had never faced any kind of illness at all, had you?
Certainly never any kind of mental issues or impairment. You don't, you sort of don't. It's sort of. I think it boils down to the stiff upper lip of the British society, especially when you come from a regiment that I did. The guy that founded the charity Talking to Minds, Bob Paxman. Yeah. I was actually in the same troop as him, but obviously later on in time with SAS. The circumstances are that you don't actually have the ability or the availability to say or talk about the problems that are going on at the time, for fear of being RTU'd, returned to unit. Whilst you're in amongst the guys that are going around doing the job with you, everything's under control. You feel part of it and you're with it. But as when the guy you spoke to from France mixed up, it is all part of isolation. It comes upon you. And the situation that I found is that within the NHS, and I personally work for the NHS now, the failings are quite immense. There is nothing really available within the NHS that's strategically or specifically available for PTSD.
Right.
So with that said, I mean, I sort of knew I'd got this PTSD syndrome. I was trawling through the internet base at work, looking for information. Is there anywhere I can go? And it was purely by chance that I was watching Sky News one day, and it was early one morning, and Eamon Holmes said the SAS guy breaks vow of silence. So obviously, ears triggered, tuned in, and what I came to see was the interview with Bob Paxman doing saying a bit about PTSD. Got in touch with him, and my life's turned around since. Really have to say that Talking to Minds purely based on what I've experienced and listening to
was there any opposition to Bob speaking out? Did people want it to remain silent then?
Well, I can't say that the people want you to remain silent. I mean, Bob can only talk about his own experiences. And having got to know Bob for that week that I was actually on the course with them, the problem occurs, and it's a common sort of association with each other. The same sort of symptoms arise that they say and you recognise within yourself.
Let me just interrupt a sec, Jim, because there will be people listening to this who will feel that they're less of a man if they actually go into therapy. Is that something you had to struggle with?
Yeah, granted. I mean, when I came to make the phone call, in fact, the initial contact for myself was made by my fiancée, Katie. She got in touch with Bob on my behalf, told him what symptoms I was running, what was happening. I mean, I was having nightmares, flashbacks, and it was getting really stupid. I was getting aggressive. I mean, based on what you taught within the army, it's controlled aggression. Now, when you're out of the circumstances, controlling your own aggression, having been trained to sort of let it go when they say and pull it back in on the word of command, stop. It leaves you spinning, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's got to go somewhere, and you're just...
Of course it has.
Yeah. So tell me, what do you do in the NHS?
Right, okay, I'm personally, I'm a health advisor. I'm not going to say who with, but...
No, but it's... So you're really putting something back. Jim, I wish you many years of well-being for you and your family. Thank you so much for calling. I
appreciate it. Thanks, Jenny.
Thanks, Jim. That's Jim in Dudley. This is from Yusuf in Wembley. It's really upset me, this. My heart goes out. I think we're going to have to go a bit sooner. Wait, my heart goes out to them. The government should, I won't talk. I'm just going to say thank you to you all. Why does it upset me so much? Because healthy young people that should be putting things back into society are being damaged, and I don't... Right, take a drink. Hold on. Yusuf, right. My heart goes out to them. The government should put themselves in their shoes. We need to care for ex-Army, ex-RAF and ex-Navy personnel. I think we do, and I think we should be looking after everybody who has been in this situation. You go to our website if you can help. Talking to Minds International. I'm sorry it makes me so emotional, but... how brave are those men who admit to a guilt, who admit to having taken people's lives out and then have taken it back into their own bodies. I think what Talking to Minds are doing are brilliant, and I think they need our pennies. I really do. This is LB.